Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my weekly video predictions for what I think is going to happen in next week's episode of The Walking Dead Season 9. This is for episode 4 now. It's called The Obliged. Oh man, so really happy after episode 3 if you guys got a chance to see it. If you haven't, definitely check it out and watch my review. I'll have it in the end screen videos for you guys after this one. You can click for it to see my review of episode 3. I love the episode. I thought the third episode really gave us a good direction to go in for this season, really defined what we're seeing right now and kind of put it in perspective to where they're going with this. And still, though, unsure of the direction in the next 2 episodes because, of course, these are the last 2 episodes of The Walking Dead that we're going to be seeing Rick, according to AMC and Andrew Lincoln and everything everybody has said. So I'm really just at this point like, oh my God, I'm not ready for this. You know what I mean? It's only like we got 2 weeks. I'm not ready for this. I know we got the warning, all summer and everything like that. We knew it was going to come to this, in these next 2 episodes, but it's like, I'm just still not ready for this at all. So episode 4. So it's not likely going to be this episode. Episode 4 called The Obliged. And I'll put the links in the description to, both the sneak peek and the trailer or the promo for it from AMC. The episode description is Rick's vision of a civilized future is threatened by a sudden reckoning with past sins that remain unavenged and unforgiven. So I think we all know what this is. This is referring to, of course, after seeing episode 3. This description doesn't do much for us. It's basically saying that, his vision of the future is threatened, of course, by all the chaos that's been happening recently with, after the war has ended, certain groups not forgiving the others, certain people not forgiving other people, the Oceanside women not forgiving the saviors for what they did, taking matters into their own hands, seeking their vengeance, getting their revenge against certain saviors, key saviors that were involved with the events that happened with them, and following Maggie's lead. And now it has basically reinforced for Maggie that you weren't wrong, this is right, this feels right, and Maggie is consumed with, I guess, that, or it has been given that level of reassurance to go ahead and go after Negan now. So now things are really getting good. You bring Negan back in, and you guys know I'm down, right? He's one of my favorite characters of The Walking Dead ever. And so is Maggie. Maggie is too, and in this case, Maggie's going after him. So it sort of makes it feel like Rick is kind of your classic good guy type character here. He wants everybody to get along. He wants everybody to work together. He wants the war to be over. He doesn't want any more death. He doesn't want any more killing. And he wants everyone to get together and all sing Kumbaya and hold hands and, by the fire and, roast marshmallows or whatever. But, of course, as we're seeing, that likely is not going to work and is not going to happen because even though he's okay with everything that's happened, there are other people that aren't. And you got a question for Rick. Had Negan have directly killed Carl himself, for example, let's say Negan Lucille'd Carl in the season 7 finale maybe, and Ezekiel had gotten there 1 minute later with Shiva or whatever, then would Rick feel the same way? It's a good question, right? Or would his emotions take over? So really, really good stuff. Absolutely loving this current direction. This episode coming up, being obliged to someone. So the word obliged, because the episode is called The Obliged, so there's a few different definitions for it, but I think do as someone asks or desires in order to help or please them. So there, in a way, it kind of makes me think of how Daryl, Maggie have felt obliged to do as Rick asks. So if Rick tries to tell Daryl, calm it down with the killing spree and killing Morales and everybody else that he's going on, and everybody work together and do this kind of thing. They feel obliged to Rick because, of course, Rick was the leader of the group when things first started and things got going. And as things went on through, of course, they have kind of different philosophies on things after the war, but they must feel in some way obliged to Rick and to go along with what Rick wants them to do. However, as we've seen just recently here, it looks like Maggie and Daryl are not going to go along with that, even though Carol probably is. So we may see people picking sides pretty quickly here, and we'll see if Maggie and Daryl end up being wrong. So we have that. We've got the next on, so we've got it starting with Maggie, and she's got the crowbar, and she's got the other stuff, and she's basically leaving. She's leaving the hilltop to go where? We'll see. Whether it's back to the bridge work, or whether it's to exact some kind of plan to infiltrate Alexandria, create a distraction in Alexandria, maybe bring in a herd of zombies or something. Hopefully not hurt too many other people when she's trying to get Negan in the process. But we know Michonne's in there. We see some scenes here where Michonne is going to confront Negan, or she's going down. She sees a sword. You've got Judith, who's playing around in there, that kind of area. You've got Scott, who's in there still, and we saw him in episode 3. So will Maggie go to Alexandria this episode? Man, we don't have a lot more time, right? So if they're going to have a big death in episode 5, which we're to assume they're probably going to, then we got to see something happen between Maggie and Negan now. It's got to happen in episode 4, maybe episode 5, but after that, I mean, wow, the whole show's going to be different after that. So we'll see. So Rick saying to Eugene, what are the chances the bridge will hold? And Eugene seems to be kind of walking with him, and we're going to have to see. But he sees the water going through. He's kind of like, oh shit. He's kind of fixated on that. He wants to fix that because it's sort of his way of bridging the communities. It's his way of physically and then metaphorically as well too, keeping everybody together as part of the joint communities and not separate. Even though that clearly hasn't been working recently, there's got to be a way. Daryl and Rick throwing down again. So we've seen it before. We've seen it a few times throughout the series. Season 8, most notably recently, but even from when they first met each other. You tied my brother to a roof and you left him there? Right? Even when they first meet each other and they start kind of fighting and that kind of deal. Shane helps out too, right, at the beginning. But it looks like they're throwing down pretty hardcore here. Daryl's getting pissed at Rick, and you've got them tumbling and stuff like this. Rick falling down, and he's grabbing onto, I don't know, a vine or something. And you've got some walkers falling down in a mudded area around him, and Daryl's in there somewhere. They're riding on the motorcycle first together, going somewhere. Is it a trap? I don't know. Can he trust Daryl at this point? I don't know, man. What are they going to do? Like, how's this whole thing going to work out? Like, is it going to be... I tend to think if it's with Maggie, it's got to be some kind of pretty smart plot that she's got going on here. It can't be just, it can't be some. There's got to be a lot to it here. Let's see, man. But maybe Daryl will take Rick out and maybe just neutralize him for now, because I don't think they want to kill Rick, and they just neutralize him, right, and see if Daryl can, because Daryl's basically the enforcer at this point, I guess, or he's your fighter character. So can Rick take Daryl one-on-one? I feel like at this time I'd probably have to say no. Even in the past before, I would definitely say yes. But right now it kind of feels like Daryl and Maggie have too much momentum to have Rick beat Daryl in a one-on-one fight based on the story right now. Even though usually I would say I think Rick would take Daryl, but recently it's kind of like, I almost feel like it's kind of changed a bit. So yeah, man, cool stuff. Walker's falling down, and then Savior's drawing arms on Carol again, which kind of looks like just like episode 3, except Savior's the one's drawing. This Jed guy is still being a pain in the ass, and even though they keep forgiving him, keep giving him more chances, it's not, it almost feels like Daryl and Maggie are too harsh, and then at the same time Rick is too soft, and Carol are being too soft with the Saviors. So it's tricky, man, for sure. And then we've got the sneak peek. We've got a letter from Georgie, who Maggie doesn't care about right now. It's like, put it in the drawer, whatever. And then Jesus wants Maggie to be sure of her decisions, because I think he can tell that she's going to go after Negan, and now's the time. And I'm sure he's heard about everything, because people talk. And when you got people dying, the word's going to spread pretty quickly. So, absolutely loving this direction right now for Walking Dead. It started to stick out to me as a memorable part of the series, and they've done a lot of episodes now, a lot of seasons. So as you're going through, that's what you want to see. You want to see stuff that's unique and memorable. And I feel like after episode 3, this season has really started to shape up to be just as memorable as maybe in any of the seasons we've had prior. Really loved episode 3. So my predictions for episode 4, man, I just have no goddamn idea. You know, Maggie's got to take action. She's got to do something. Rick and Daryl somehow got to get in this fight. So is it a plan? Does it just happen? Does Rick say something to Daryl? Does Daryl just have it with Rick and then they just go, you know, same thing as season 8, just fight it out because they're just on polar opposites here. And man, I can't wait to see the episode. And I'm excited for episode 5, but at the same time, I'm also kind of nervous about it too. So, will we see a confrontation between Maggie and Negan? Oh man, that could be the maybe the final scene in the episode 4. We'll see. Will Maggie kill Negan? Will she change her mind? Oh my God. Will Negan escape? Will he somehow escape in the chaos, right? Oh my God. It's awesome. So let me know what you guys think. Leave your comments below. Questions for the Q&As for this week. And I'll have another one for you guys really soon. I'll probably do one tonight. Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. If you like the video, thumb it up below. Share favorite. Check back in half an hour for another video. Check out the review if you didn't see it yet. And that's it for this one. I'll see you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev. And I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See you soon.